Hey, what's up everyone? This is Pen. Welcome to the channel. Hey, so this is going to be my first impressions of the Nakamichi Shockwafe 7.2.4 channel 1000-watt soundbar system with dual 8-inch subwoofers, supports Dolby Atmos, ER compatible, and supports the SSC Max. So I purchased this from Best Buy, got the max warranty. This was on sale. I think in my video, it was a couple $100 off, potentially 300. I forgot the price, honestly, but I paid over $1,200 for it. I got the max warranty. Even that was at a reduced price. But if you go back to my prior video, this was something that I was interested in because of the raw power and the dual sub performance, and it just being based off reviews, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, it just being like that upper echelon when we're talking about a surround sound soundbar system that features two subwoofers, not just one, two. And it is a mind-blowing experience. In terms of video expectations, I'm going to be going over my opinion on the remote. I'm going to be showcasing my setup versus the Nakamichi setup that's on their website. Some of my thought process, my setup that's unique to my space, my thoughts and opinions. And towards the end, there will just be a demo where I'm on either my Apple TV 4K or my NVIDIA Shield, where I'm playing the Dolby demos, and it's just recommended that you use headphones when those demos are on. It's not required, just recommended in this case. And overall, my impressions of this before I get into the video, before I dig into it, this is an amazing setup for price to performance. If it's definitely within a budget, I will keep this in the back of your mind for sure against the other competitors. I've owned 3 Vizio soundbars. 2 of those are surround sound systems. One of those are Dolby Atmos DCSS compatible, similar to this setup. But this has dual subwoofers, and the bass is just incredible. It shakes, it rumbles, it shreds, it destroys. Like, you actually feel like the content and the experience. This system is on another level, in my personal opinion. So let's get started. I'm going to get into the remote, and we're just going to go from there. Okay, so this is my actual space. On the left, you see the remote on my desk, and on the right, you see the example from Nakamichi. I'm going to be doing like this presentation setup where it's not so much a comparison. It's just giving you a perspective on what the example is showing versus like how it looks in my actual space. So the remote may seem overwhelming when you look at it, but it's actually not. I'm going to break it down. The power button would be like that green button up top, the mute over to the right. It has the TV if you want to switch to the TV source. The HDMI, the HDMI 3 and the HDMI 4 are the inputs. This device has 3 HDMI ends. Passes through 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision, has variable refresh rate up to 60 frames. That's insane for a soundbar surround sound system. This thing is jam-packed and it's a powerhouse. It supports coax, of course, USB, aux, optical, Bluetooth. To be quite honest, I don't use any of those. I'm either in HDMI or that's literally it. I'm a strict HDMI setup. Use USB in case you have to download some firmware. That's understandable. Now, where it says the music, movie, game, night, and DSP, just let me tell you something. My preference is movie. This is a movie system. It caters the most to movie content, especially those DTS:X and those true HD 7.1 audio. It caters to it. You really hear it. I'm in movie mode and I'm in surround. Surround will give you native, upmixing, and Dolby surround. I'm in Dolby surround 99.9% of the time, and all channel stereo is good for things like YouTube or music. I've tried that with the Apple TV and it sounded quite nice in my ears. There's options when it comes to this device. I love it. It's options. The setup, you can get even more advanced to where you can go in and customize and fine tune things. The info button will just show you the information about the content that you're displaying or watching. Return would be the back button in this case. SSE is a interesting technology where it has these numbers 1 to 3. And if you have a smaller space, like this is set up all in an office environment. A work from home office environment where I'm using SSE1 and it fills the room. The bigger the space you have, the higher the number you might want to go. This technology within this surround sound system is excellent because depending on your dimensions and your space, you can have it to where it's more room, to where it sounds, I don't know, bigger, or you can have it to where it sounds smaller, if that makes sense. And you can really go in and fine tune this. The volume is the volume. The bass, this system rumbles, it shakes. I've seen Creed 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I finished up Kong Skull Island, and you hear the bass when any action scene demands for it. You're in the actual cinema, you feel the movie, you know, you want to feel the content. And down below it has the CR, that stands for center channel, TR is the treble, SS is the side surrounds, and SB will be the rear controls, you know, the rear speakers. So you can fine tune it based off of your space, and you can even save system presets with system memory, and they have a Bluetooth mode only. I don't touch any of the bottom two. I'm mainly touching everything above that, but I'm only in a few buttons and modes. That's it. So now that I've explained the remote, doesn't it seem a lot less overwhelming and more understandable? You have your presets, you have your HDMI buttons, you have your different modes for your content, surround or all channel stereo, pick and choose. You have options. Good to have options. So in the next presentation part of this video, I'll be breaking down the space more with the subwoofers, the rear speakers, and towards the end of the video there will be some demos that I will be showcasing in the actual environment with a dark room, and we'll just go from there. Okay, so in this segment of the video, this is going to be more of a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to be showcasing what Nakamichi provides versus my actual setup. The whole point of this is to just give you a more descriptive way of how I set things up, what was my thought process, and how you don't need a traditional setup if your space doesn't allow for you to have it. So let's get started. All right, so in this frame, it was important to get the actual sound bar. This is on the same stand as my television. This looks very clean, like in person, you know, it matches with the television. The LED that you see down below in the display is clear. It's bright enough to where when you're in a dark room environment, you can actually see the changes that you're making on a sound system itself. And this way, by it being sort of on the same surface as the television, it gives it a cleaner look, to me, in my personal opinion, you know. Of course, it isn't perfect, but it works in my situation and my use case. Okay, so this is the front. Now let's go into a little bit more of the subs. Okay, now on the right is a beautiful illustration by Nakamichi where they're showing a space. This looks like a living room environment. You can tell that it's carefully put together, but you may not have a beautiful illustration in your setup where everything is perfect, laid out, nice and neat. Sometimes you're going to have cables that's going to be shown. Sometimes you're going to have to put the subwoofers in places where it makes sense to your space and your dimensions. My subwoofers are on the opposite sides of the rooms. One is on the far left of the room and the other is on the far right underneath my computer table. In the example on the left, that's a subwoofer that is placed on the far right when you are facing the television. The other will be on the far left when you are facing the television. The point here is that in this example by Nakamichi over to the right, there's a subwoofer on the left side of the couch or the seating position, and there's a subwoofer that's sort of on the right side by that, you know, that glass environment, you know, where you see the outside wilderness, things like that. The point is your sub placement is going to have to make sense based on where you want them. And having two subwoofers, in my experience, definitely has equalized the bass, and it gives it more of a deep bass, a more theater-like experience. Something that I just never experienced with my previous Vizio Atmos model. So what I'm saying is that by me placing the subwoofers on opposite side of the rooms is giving the bass sort of, it feels more balanced in the sound design, if I had to simplify things. Okay, now this is the other subwoofer. This is underneath my desk. There's cables, there's wires going everywhere. It's supposed to feel more messy. And this is where I wanted it because this is where it made the most sense. Before, I had it where I had a subwoofer while facing the TV on the side, similar to what you see here. And I had the other subwoofer up front by the soundbar. It didn't make sense because I had some drawers there and I have gadgets inside them, and it would be inconvenient to access my gear, my products, or my personal belongings, and it didn't make sense for the space. So I have a clean setup similar to what you see here, but my subwoofer, one of them is hidden and the other one is not, but they're on opposite sides of the room, making for a quite compelling performance in real life. So I'm liking what I did here. I'm just giving you my setup versus a setup that was on the website for the example, to where you may not have a perfect ideal solution, but you gotta do what works. But I have a working solution, so that's the point here. Now I'm going to get in with the sound, and I'm going to be telling you why there's tape on my rear speakers. To simplify things, I ordered some Atlanta speaker stands, and they were not compatible with the Nakamichi rear speakers at all. Now, when I was unboxing the speaker stands and the Nakamichi sound system, I admit some screws did get misplaced. I wind up finding them later, and I was in a hurry. And the reason being is because this system was delayed a day because UPS attempted the delivery. They couldn't get a signature from me. I didn't hear a doorbell. They didn't send me no text, no anything. And this wound up arriving a day later than expected. So I was already sort of pissed, and I wanted to get this system set up and ready to go. So options with solutions, there was black tape. I set up the base where the speakers are sitting on. That's already screwed in. That's all tight. That's ready to go. I just needed something for the foundation. When the lights is off, I'm facing the television. I'm not facing these. It blends in the background. It's barely noticeable. I'm loving the performance. That's what I was after. Not the look, just the performance. And I have these rears set up behind me. So they're given this cinematic 360 degree surround sound. And that's definitely what these are doing on the left side. And these are quite heavy as well. One thing that I can say is that these are very, very nice. They're quality rear speakers. And once again, the tape was more for convenience. I did find the screws for this. Maybe later on in a year, I'll go back and actually properly screw these in and remove the tape. But for now, I'm good. So once again, this is my setup, and this is the process that I went through to get this up and running. Yours may be different. How you want to go about it is fine. This was more of a convenience thing. But once again, once the lights are off and once I'm watching this, it's game over. These perform. These literally come alive in your listening space, and it feels like that plane is like flying above you, or when it's raining, it's not the ceilings and the speakers effect. It's not the up firing speakers, but the sound these produce in the space, it fills the room. It definitely helps. In this example, you see in the bottom middle towards lower right, where you see the green and all that, the space and these speakers, it fills the environment for sure. All right, so next I'm going to be getting into some Dolby Atmos demos. I'm just going to show you how the space looks at night, because that's when I'm watching my content in a dark environment. And I'm going to wrap the video off of that. Just going to play the demos. You're not going to hear any commentary, things like that. I fully recommend this system if it's in the budget. This is a little bit more pricier. I paid over $1,200 plus tax and got the full year warranty off of Best Buy. If you're able to find a deal off of Amazon or even eBay or some other storefronts, I would definitely recommend you shop around and look for deals. This is one of the systems where it's going to be my in-game system for the big display. The 7.2.4 is going to be for my movies, TV shows, and live sporting events. And I have a mini theater set up on the desk here, which that will be in a different video. But before I get into the demos, it definitely has my stamp of approval. Just letting you know how I set things up, what were my thoughts about it, and we're going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to start the first demo. This is Amaze Lossless Atmos. This is playing on my NVIDIA Shield Pro 2019, hooked up to the Nakamichi 7.2.4 Atmos surround sound system. Let's get started. Okay, let's get this next demo going. Dolby Leaf Lossless Atmos. One moment. And for the final demo, I will be showcasing a Dolby Vision, since this surround sound system does pass through Dolby Vision through the HDMI imports. All right, everyone, that's the end of the demos. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. If this content interests you, more content on the way. And yeah, this is my new home theater, the Nakamichi 7.2.4 surround sound Dolby Atmos system. This is my MB Cloud, and I'm absolutely in love. It just ties everything and brings everything all together. And yeah, folks. So hope everybody enjoyed the content. Till next time, peace out. Thank you for watching.